Well, hello, and welcome to our very special video episode of Little State Big Voices with myself, Shahida, and my fabulous co host, Tracy.
Oh, me. Hey, y'all. It's Tracy.
I figured I'd just like do this. You can see
You let me do my own. Okay, yes. Hi, it's Tracy.
it. So, as you said, this is actually our second video, but this one we're actually going to put up. And we've done that because we have a very special guest that we're going to save to the end. But we had a very interesting week. But happy
We
Monday.
did.
We did. We had a very interesting week this week, and we have a couple of things we want to discuss. And this will be airing on Monday the 8th, right? Yeah,
Yes.
Monday the 8th,
A national holiday.
which is Tracy's birthday. And our other golden child, Tanya Tillman,
Yes.
birthday. The two Gemini twins, Aries.
Girl.
I know you're not Gemini. I'm just saying Gemini twins, but
Okay.
Aries twins. I said Aries. Anyway, I don't want to mess
And
up
in
her
lieu of
birthday.
a birthday party, just enjoy the solar eclipse.
Do you have your glasses?
No.
I know Tanya said that she was gonna get us some. I don't know
They're
if she
supposed
did
to
or not.
have them at
Wait,
don't give me the
Warby
lion, one of
Parker.
those optical places is
Warby
giving them out.
Parker.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for
hmm
that.
Because I'm like, maybe I'll try and go by tomorrow and grab a pair just in case I don't meet up with Tanya. But she said because she's coming to Rhode Island. So anyway, but back to our week.
It was very
So we started
cultural.
off the week with, I mean, we did a lot of filming, a lot of film presentations this week. Not us, but we watched a lot. And one of the films that we watched was called Anonymous Sister at Brown University for their Our Storied Health series that they do, and it was about the opioid issue and this one girl. And you know what? I forgot her name. She
The main character, not characters, but
documentarian. She's 19 years. She was 19 when she started the documentary on her family. And I mean, I must have it in my notes, but it was about her family's ordeal with opioid drugs. Mainly, her sister was addicted to oxycodone,
yeah.
and it was really it was very good, very insightful. I learned a lot. I mean, we definitely learned how it affected the country and so many deaths upon it, and why it was able to grow as much as it did. And this is the one time where racism kind of saved black people, because at the very beginning they was not prescribing to us.
It was her perspective
Mhm.
of how she recorded this. So she started with humanizing her sister, because the thing to remember is that, when this addiction is part of people's lives, we tend to forget the human beings behind the abuse, or what we perceive to be drug abuse and the disease and things like that. So she spent a good amount of time on the video humanizing her family and just showing like this, we were just like a normal family, what people from the outside looking in would perceive to be these kind of perfect. They were kind of perfect people. Two
Mhm.
blonde little girls, blonde mother,
Beautiful.
tall, decent looking father. Like
Mhm.
they look like they should be the American dream, and the opioid crisis like severely impacted their family. And it was actually pretty good. I'm intrigued by the information that was shared, because a lot of it was just basically that the pharmaceutical company that pushed out a lot of these opioids was miseducating doctors on the impact of these drugs.
Yeah,
So,
pharmaceutical in the Sackler family. Um,
Was it Purdue Pharma
was it
in the
Purdue? Yeah,
Sattler
it was.
family?
It was.
Mhm.
In the Sackler family.
Yeah.
They were, pretty much so behind this, encouraging, the salespeople to lie to
And there
doctors.
were big commission checks. I mean, like,
Extremely big commission. They had humongous incentive but they didn't understand either how dangerous the drugs were. The salespeople, how are they to know? They're only going by what their bosses are telling them to an extent.
There was some information that was available that was kind of a red flag. It was
Flag,
a little red flaggy,
yeah.
but I think those commission checks, the 7 grand a month, and this was the 90s, what, like
Mhm.
90s, early 2000s.
Yeah,
So I think that the desire to generate revenue superseded what
they
was
were
in the best
hustling.
interest of like the of society, because and we say it all the time. I think among the black community is like, where's the outcry for the crack epidemic of the 80s? You know what I mean?
Hmm. Well, we know the government pumped that into us personally, but anyway, but it was what was amazing to me, and I said it to Tracy that night. I appreciated their story. I did.
I liked
It
it.
was
Well, I
definitely,
liked hearing about it. No,
yeah,
I didn't
I
like it, but
appreciated their story, and I understood a lot of where they were coming from, but the thing that just infuriated me so much is like she did humanize her family, but she did leave out a lot of the fuckery that her family
so
created
I think
within
like
their walls.
low key they just don't get the privilege that they were sitting in,
No, they
even
don't. The sister
with all of this going on.
was
So
constantly stealing, never arrested. The mother, this is the best part. The mother forged a doctor's signature. The pharmacist knew it, called the police. When the
so
husband
wait,
came,
what she did was she changed the amount of the pills. That
right,
was
but
a
she
tip.
changed the amount and she changed the date on the prescription. And
And
so
then
when
sent her
sent
husband.
her husband, and when he went, the police were there. So he doesn't know what's going on. He's blindsided, and they're telling them that this is a forgery. And he calls the wife, and he's like, "Look, I'm at the pharmacy, and they're saying that this is a forgery." And she's like, "What?" She's like, she doesn't even say anything. They let him go. They let him go.
Can't even
Goes
imagine it. I
home.
can't even imagine it, but
Not
go
if he
ahead.
was a black person, it would not have happened. They let him go. He goes home. He said, "Look, the police are on their way. I'm out." So he's like, "You're going to have to deal with what these police have to say." She, in turn, packs her bags, goes to the airport, gets on a flight to Florida, calls them, and tells them she's in rehab. What?
Yeah.
So
So
they
I
didn't
think
even come right away.
what was kind of deep about this whole thing is, again, this it would have went down so differently for any family of color, across the board. This could only happen to a white woman. I'm so sorry. Like,
Mhm.
it could only happen to, because like that's, like I said, they were the image of what people. The mother was a gorgeous woman, like very stunning, kids good looking, super blonde, like all that stuff. But it was just wild that they could shoplift and they could get, and maybe it
And
was the small,
forgery.
maybe it was a small town. Like, I don't know if they all knew each other.
It was
I don't know what.
Colorado, so I don't know how big,
Yeah, it
but
was
it was
Jamie
really big.
Boyle.
And
Jamie Boyle is the name of the cinematographer who
okay,
who created that documentary. But what was interesting about it is that she considered her family to be not doing well financially, but they had camcorders, which a lot of families did not have those in the 90s. Like, from their
she
upbringing,
didn't
from
say that.
literally
It
from,
was the mother who said it consistently. We never had money. We didn't have money,
yeah,
and yet
the
they
mother did say they had no money,
were.
but she also wasn't working though all
No,
the time.
she had
She
spent
eventually started working.
when she was paying for the daughter to go to ice skating lessons.
Yeah.
It sounded like she was primarily paying that by cleaning house, which, hey, kudos to
But
her.
they documented everything, phone calls, videos. Like, so this, it just so happened that the sister who made the film always had like an affinity for documenting things, and that's how they were able to splice all this stuff together. And we saw everything from their early childhood to her older sister's career I guess you could call it a career because she was still kind of high school and college
Mm-hmm.
time when she was doing her ice skating. And it was the ice skating injuries that actually led to her first getting onto pain relief and things
Yeah.
like that. And then the
It was,
mom had her own medical issues. And again, they were prescribed pain, remedies that were just far beyond what they really needed. And it
yeah,
was it was it was crazy that mom and daughter both or
was
became
suffering.
opioid addicts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it was really good, and kudos to
It
Brent
was good.
for actually having the series. I found it, very interesting and insightful. So, but the
Yeah.
other one we went to, oh my goodness, that was today. We're recording this.
Yes.
This is on a Saturday. Was the Rhode Island Black Film Festival. So we went.
Amazing.
It was. I mean, we ended up only catching what, two and a half films. Well, yeah, we
Yeah.
two films, and we saw the ending of a panel for one, and that was brought to us by the organizer is Ann Clayton,
She
and
did a
so
phenomenal job.
two
Her
of the
and
films,
her
one of the films
volunteers.
we saw. I'm sorry.
I said Anne and her volunteers, like they did an amazing job putting it together.
It was really good, and it was up at Brown as well. There were two films that we saw. One was
The
what was
Bannister Project.
Oh, the Bannister Project, about because this was done by a young student here in Rhode Island. He's 18 years old. And the Bannister Project is to bring awareness to this Black American who lived here in Rhode Island who was an artist. And
Really,
his
it was the couple.
wife, I'm sorry?
Yeah. No, I was saying really it was the couple, like it was
Yeah,
the two
right.
of
And
them.
his wife, what's his wife's name?
Christiana Bannister.
Christiana Bannister was a hairdresser. She was indigenous and black.
But not just a hairdresser, a franchise
I was
owner.
getting to that. Yeah, she owned several, and of course, as most Black women were in that time and are, as we'll see with Bethany and Hardison, it wasn't about her just getting and having property and money and she was a philanthropist. She was a community activist. She was a can't think of it, but this is in the 1800s, you all. This is in the
It was
1800s.
incredible. It was incredible what they were doing at the time. And some of the historians in the documentary were just saying like it wasn't even safe to walk the streets because you could be minding your merry business and just be kidnapped basically and
Mhm.
sent down south as a slave, regardless of whether or not you were a free black person or a person of color or whatever. So it was hot in those streets. And she was feisty. Like the wife was really feisty. And what Ray Rickman said is that this is the Mr. Bannister said, I'm nothing without my wife. He literally said that in like 1850 whatever, which that was huge for him to utter those types of words at that time when women had no right to vote, especially black women. It was
Mhm.
just they seemed like they were like I want to say they're the J&B of Rhode Island.
The power couple. Yeah, and
Yes.
she has a bust in the state house that they had, they worked tirelessly, as you said, worked tirelessly to have that. And now he has a is the bench commissioned or already done?
The bench was being commissioned and I feel like it was almost finished because they had like lightly displayed it out
Mhm.
wherever it's being um fabricated, but it may be ready. I don't think it's there
Yeah,
yet.
yeah. I don't the young man who made it, what's his Angel?
Angel Sweeney. And when I tell you top notch documentary,
18.
like
He's 18.
very well done,
Mhm.
extremely well done. And so I'm excited to see what Angel's going to do next. I'm also excited to sit on that bench when it comes to Roger Williams Park
Um, but
of Mr.
I will
Bannister.
say this, but I do know that his next project is called Sneakerheads, and I know a lot
Yes,
of you. And when we find out the information, because I think it's supposed to be coming out next month in May. So when we do find out, we'll let you know because I know a lot of young people would love to go see that, and I have all the confidence in the world that he's probably going to do a great
My
job.
husband Morel will love that.
I
He is
know.
a sneakerhead, and it's
Mhm.
about sneakers and the personalities that go. I'm so excited for that. So yeah, we were doing our culture thing.
We were.
Um,
Look
so
at us
we hung out
in our
for quite
culture
a
shit.
while. And so in addition to the Bannister project, we also saw Anonymous Beauty, which was my what
Invisible
was
beauty. Invisible beauty.
Sorry, I mixed up the two.
Combined.
Invisible Beauty, which was the draw for me. That's what actually really motivated me to attend the film festival this year. And that was all about Beth Ann Hardison, who in her own right is just like a dynamo. Some people may know that she's the mother of Kadeem Hardison, who played Dwayne Wayne on A Different World. And to some people, that's all they know of her. But what this woman did as far as
Yeah.
advocacy in the fashion world for models, women mostly of color, is beyond. And her personality is bigger than life. Like that was such
Mhm.
a great documentary.
It really was. I mean, I literally came to tears a few times because it was so impactful. And I think I mentioned this after when we did the panel in Boston, just how Black women don't just fight for one group, it's usually to benefit all. And you see
Yeah.
that with someone like Beth Ann, even though she was fighting for, Black models, it really helped the whole industry of fashion. And to
Absolutely.
be she's how she just started out. I love anybody who against all odds just says, I'm going to do it because it's my God-given right to do it, and just it's just impressive what she has managed to build in her career. And then after she builds this successful modeling agency, say, you know what, this is not all who I am, walks away and tries to figure out what her next step is going to be. And even though it is coming back to fashion and advocating at a time when Black women were just being completely erased off the runways. And
Yeah.
I really did not know that. And I know you do because you follow fashions, diligently. But that period of time, what was it, like 99 to the 2000s, where they were just not hiring any Black women to walk down.
And it was the top designers, and it's like the labels that a lot of people worship. Prada in particular was like one of the main culprits. That was,
Yeah, that's
and what she said is that, and any good story always has a historical element to it. Something in history impacts it, and she cited the fall of the Berlin Wall, where they were now able to get all these Russian models and German models who were, in her words, not mine, emaciated
and
and had no type of spirit to them. They just became hangers for the clothing. And what I've experienced too from just going to fashion week and fashion shows is oftentimes a model is treated as a hanger. It's not about the model. It's about, okay, it's them walking down and showcasing the clothing. But there's just a way that women of color fill clothes out, even if they're the skinniest stick figure woman that there is. There's just a vibrancy. And then there was like what she didn't talk about in the documentary, which I kind of wish she had, was that explosion of like all the East African models. Like all of a sudden, like these super dark, gorgeous women started becoming the standard for modeling. And I don't know, if she would ever get into that topic, but I didn't know her connection to Tyson Beckford was so deep. I didn't realize that she
now
launched his
see, I
career with
knew that.
Rough.
Well, you know what? I'm not like big into fashion, but there were certain periods that I paid attention to, and I did pay a lot of attention to her. And I was telling Tracy earlier that I always liked Ralph Lauren clothes, but it wasn't until Tyson Beckford started doing his spreads that it really spoke to me. I mean, that
He
style,
added life. He added
he
life to it.
is gorgeous. No, he definitely added a oomph to it. And to be dressed in Ralph Lauren clothes because his whole aesthetic is very preppy, very, very high class basic, because there's a basic and then there's a high
It's
class basic.
giving wealth,
It's extreme wealth.
casual wealth.
He was the face of that, and that made me love the clothes even more. And um, he was just that's a gorgeous man.
Stunning, gorgeous.
That's
The,
a gorgeous
when
man.
they showed that part of him, it's saying like, "Yo, I think we need extra security down here at the mall because they about to tear Macy's up."
Those girls were going
They
crazy.
were. It was like they said it was as if the Beatles had this, and that's Beth Ann Hardison. That is the
Mhm,
power of this black woman. When all the controversy was going on with Gucci, which is like one of my favorite labels, and they did that stupid lips turtleneck.
mhm, mhm.
She
They
went
did that.
in, like she went to the top and was like, "Yo, what are y'all doing?"
Mhm,
And then she also got with my favorite, Dapper Dan, and she's been a muse for so many artists herself. And I was just like,
mhm.
and she still freaking slays to this day. Like that lady would get dressed at 78 years old and just tear it up. She looks freaking amazing, and she's dope.
She's the epitome of New York too. One of the things I really liked about the film is just them filming her walking down the streets of New York. And if you've ever been to New York in the spring and the summertime, that's the best time to go. I
Yeah,
don't care how great you look, New York women know how to put on some clothes. They just do. And
yeah,
it's almost like I remember when we went to Harlem, all the people,
yes.
they weren't even going to the same event that we were going to, but black women in Harlem, they just walk down the street like they're just stunning. They know how to put
Everybody in
together a look.
Clayton Powell Square, whatever,
Mhm,
just random women just crushing it fashion
mhm.
wise, like
Walking down, and
just wearing their everyday clothing.
they were showing her walking down the street, and I literally one of the outfits she had on was a black turtleneck that said, I forget what it said on.
Pleasing.
No, it pleasing, right? It was a black sweatshirt, not turtleneck. Black sweatshirt with a little black and white, scarf tied around her neck, and a beautiful jacket and that big old hat.
Yeah, she had like the
Simple
Pharrell
clothing, simple clothing, but
face.
she just made it look like the
Did
street
you
was the
notice?
runway.
Did you notice when they showed her class picture when she was in elementary school? She
Mhm.
was the only one with the scarf on her neck. They had uniforms on, so all the
Right.
kids looked the same. Homegirl had her little scarf. She might have been 11,
Mhm.
10, 11 years old, little scarf on her neck. She had that thing since then.
Yeah.
So
I think you can catch it on because I know it was available on like
it's definitely
Netflix.
on streaming platforms.
Yeah, it would. I'm just I can't implore you enough to go and watch it because it was really excellent. It was eye opening, and it's always great to see black icons tell their story.
And
And
executive produced by her and Naomi Campbell, I believe.
yeah, I think it was just Naomi Campbell.
Oh,
She's the
okay, just Naomi as the executive
Mhm.
producer.
And that is one thing I didn't know. I didn't know how close she was to. I knew that she represented a lot of them, but a lot of them looked upon her as a mother. She wasn't just, their boss or just their agent. She incorporated these people in as family. And so she was an icon.
And
She was an
Iman. I'm not even going to tell the Iman story because I want people to hear it for themselves.
icon.
When
Okay.
she talks about how she welcomed her into the industry,
Hmm.
that kind of had me like, oh,
Hmm. 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 Yeah, very.
yeah.
It was very touching. It was really good. It was very insightful. So I do implore you all to take a listen to that. And now on to our last, and
But not least.
oh, not at all, because this guy is absolutely fabulous. It's Rhode Island's own by way of Jamaica. but he's here now. We had the great opportunity to speak with a poet, a fellow artist here in Rhode Island, Amaziyah the Great, also known as Craig Kirkland. And Tracy, can you give the intro?
Yes, I got to do a bio. So I'm going to try to bring Craig's energy because Craig has some energy.
Yeah.
Amaziah the Great brings it. So let me try. Let me clear my throat. Okay. Craig Alton Kirkland, also known as Amaziah the Great, emerged as a versatile artist from Featherbed Lane, Spanish Town, Jamaica. Celebrated for his music, films, and poetry, his journey includes award winning short films like Ghetto Visit, a poignant spoken word piece, and the publication of Don't Cry, dedicated to his children. Now based in Rhode Island, Kirkland continues to inspire audiences performing at venues like Pawtucket Poetry, a weekly event hosted by Lori Kirkland in Pawtucket. Lori herself was featured on Hey Rhodey and is lauded for her work connecting and motivating poets behind the scenes. So, Amaziah's recent nominations include Best Poet, Spoken Word Entertainer at the IRAWMA International Reggae and World Music Awards, as well as the Motif Spoken Awards, where he is up for nomination, and will know after Tuesday night whether he's actually, you know, taking home that honor. But regardless, you got to listen to this interview. You got to take in what this brother has to say, and you got to get his book, which is available on Amazon.
And we will have all this other information up on the website and all our socials as well. So with that, we'll invite the great Amaziah the Great.
Precisely. Shahida, Tracy, maximum respect. It's a pleasure being here. It's an honor, it's a joy. And for set the record, just so I'll let anyone watching this know. So you guys are the first sets of persons ever in Rhode Island to invite me to chat with me on a podcast.
We are so honored. I mean, so just so people kind of know how we came into each other's orbits, is that we met you at Writers Like Us, which was actually a Creatives of Color celebration held at Lit Arts RI. People hear us talk about Lit Arts all the time on our podcast. We occasionally record from their studio for our podcast. So they really do a great job at bringing creatives of color together. And I think, what's important is that we have that synergy with other creatives like yourself, and we definitely want to give our audience a little perspective into what your craft is.
So, well, I'm just a talented individual. From ever since I was small, I've been liking the literature. So, I've been reading a lot. So that's one of the key thing is, to read a lot to get a wider vision of things. So that's how poetry came about. So I'm a poet. I'm an author, a self-published author. My book is out. It's called Don't Cry by Craig A. Kirkland, and it's available on Amazon. Don't Cry. I do short films. I do graphic designs. I do promo ad. I just, be dabbling in the entire creative space, so to speak.
Wow, jack of all trades. I mean, what is your book about? Is it a book of
So,
poetry or?
so it's a poetry book,
Mhm.
and it have many aspects to it. It talks about my growing up, talks about me motivating our people, our youth, talks about inspiring women, it talks about domestic violence against women, it talks about so much different things, talks about politics, but everything is in it is poetry.
Well,
That's
I
nice.
wish I had spoken to you before because this month is awareness for domestic violence. This is the month for it, April.
And I
And
just did, go on, continue. Sorry
no,
about
what
that.
did you do? Did you do anything
Well, I there's a
pertaining to
poem
that?
I just did, just a video today. It talks about a female by the name of Pam. It's also a short film. It's on YouTube. My name is Pam, by
Is this
Amaziyah the
one
Great.
the one that stars your family member is part
Yes,
of that?
yes. So it talks about a female who she encounters men. As in real life, a lot of females they're on their journey, and you have some men who they prey on them, culprits. They know in themselves that they don't want to be with these females. They use them, they abuse them, and they don't want them to have their freedom. So Pam really was in an abusive relationship. Uh, she ran away from that. She found another guy by the name of Dick. Dick only wanted just to get with her, and she ran away from that. Well, he disappeared like smoke in thin air. She found Billy. Billy was the silly dude. He committed suicide, and she was on the streets for a while, and then she eventually, decided she want to stand firm in life, and she go for her goals. I could do
Wow.
that one if you want.
Yeah, we definitely want to hear that
Okay,
one.
let me drop it
I
real
just
quick.
want to I want to
Go
say
on.
too, like you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but that cover is amazing. I really love how beautiful the like everything looks on it. It makes me want to pick it up and get
So,
into it.
so, so, as you talk about the book cover, let me give you a brief history on that. I was in New York. Um, I had a TikTok video, and the title was "Learn How to Talk Like Jamaicans," and I would say some stuff in Jamaica, like persons who want to know, like, um, what's going on. I would say Wagwan. So stuff like that, and that video it escalated to about I don't know what the numbers are now, but at that time it was over 70,000 views. And
Wow.
I decided since I have something, because there was some down times, and that was one of my happy moments. So I screenshotted that image, and the title comes from when I was going through some emotional moments in New York. So while me saying don't cry, I'm actually telling myself, my kids, my family, don't cry. And I just immediately, designed it and that was it.
Wow, that's
Wow.
pretty cool.
Can I see the cover again? Tracy has such a good eye. She caught more of it than I actually did. Okay. Can you put it a
Oh
little
yeah.
bit more into
Yeah,
this?
I can't pull it back a little bit so
At the
yeah.
back? Okay. So it's
Yeah, no,
Don't
that's
Cry
really nice.
by Craig A. Kirkland.
Yeah, very nice.
So I'm gonna drop the Don't Cry first and then I go to the domestic violence one.
Okay.
Don't
Okay.
cry. Mama, don't cry. I'm gonna make this work. Never stop praying for us even when you're experiencing the worst. I am here fighting tough days, Mom. Inside hurts, but don't cry. Even though tears in my eyes, I'm crying out to God as if I'm inside the church. Listen this, I will not quit even if me have to keep crawling on the dirt. Don't cry. Dada, don't cry. You try to make things work. You are my first hero. You motivate me to serve. Son of mother ball thinking I failed. Dad, I value your worth. You inspired me immensely. Almighty God is at work. I am going to ignite luminosity all over this earth. Shahida, I told my kids don't cry. They never got it at first. So excited to see daddy's first merch. It's not like my sales boosting online. Honestly, at times it seems like my life in reverse. Tracy, people depending on me. I have to emerge. I swear to God, I'm going to break this generational curse. Don't cry. That is it.
Hey,
Thank you very much.
that was good. I love the personalization. I felt like I
I
was
know. I
in
was
the
like, wait,
poem.
wait
Like,
a
I
minute.
have to. So that's the thing about me when I'm doing a performance. I try to pull people in my feelings and my emotion and my thoughts, and you have to be there. Although at
mhm.
one point I was saying a really seductive one, and it almost got me in trouble, but that's another story. I'm gonna,
Wow.
I was talking some really raunchy stuff, and yeah, that's another story. Let me go to my name is Pam.
Okay.
All right.
Pam was sad and sulky because Roy always made her cry. He was too busy being a boisterous bully, plus a sour, selfish guy. She was somewhat bewildered as tears rained from her weeping eyes. Her relationship wasn't smooth sailing, so she told him goodbye. He yelled, "Hey, if you ever leave, damn, you're gonna die. I'm the one who makes you and I'll break you, so go on if you want to try." The nosy neighbor from next door shouted, "Somebody call police." She was by her usual spot at the zinc fence where she peeped. Mary was too busy taking a selfie to share a Facebook post. Suddenly start recording and virally shared it most. The preaching pastor came praying, but counseling never worked. Pam ran away the following day when Roy was out for work. She later found Dick, who gave her firm attention. She enjoyed having sex, but oops, no protection. Few months later, she was pregnant. Now baby father was around. Her mind went Googling, but Dick was never found. Billy shortly took her up and offered for her to be his bride. She was more than delighted and promised never to leave his side. He thought he was the baby's father, happiness displayed evidently in his eyes. Billy felt silly when he found out it wasn't so and later committed suicide. Pam never had good education. She sold back juice to make ends meet. Few months after she gave birth, she was selling her body on the streets. Life journey got intricate. She prayed and said, "Oh God, I can't take no more." A year after, she bought a car. Some people call her whore. She later furthered her education because she knew she wanted to soar. Now, Shahid and Tracy, can you guess and tell me who is that janitor at her self-owned clothing store? To be continued.
Dude,
All right, all right. You know what? I loved both.
I did too.
Thank you very much.
You are a showman. That's what it is. You know, he
Yeah,
has to
Precisely.
feel the poems that he does. And I noticed that at the Ritz Art event last week, and that's why
yeah.
we definitely wanted to have you on. So, can you tell us a little bit about your journey? I mean, because you have that beautiful
Okay.
accent. So, how'd you
All
get
right.
from Jamaica to here to Rhode
So
Island?
before I reached there, let me, as you mentioned it, arts, I must say maximum respect to Jody because um she embraced me, welcomed me warmly. I know that I am a part of Let's Arts, RI. It's a fascinating feeling, and the connections are making. You know, I got to say maximum respect and thanks to my wife who first brought me there to Let's RI, that's Lori Kirkland. And I also got to say maximum respect and thanks to Clarice Annette Brooks, another author and a poet. She also encourages me to, join. So the journey start from I was back in Jamaica and a lot was not going on, but a lot still was doing. I eventually a friend of mine, Michelle from New York, she invited me over. At that time there were some down times in my life and I just didn't know what to do and I said, "God, lead." I got the call like 2 days after and she said, "Hey, I'm gonna buy you a ticket. You should be here." I came back and it was there where I was, and I come up with the idea of putting my book together. I spoke with another poet, well, a few other poets, Antonio Valier from Jamaica, Malachi Smith, and then there is Empress Poetry from New York. I spoke with them all, and they encouraged me, you can put your book out because people always been asking me. So after putting the book out, I, sent it to the Library of Congress. I was accepted, and that also motivated and boosted me. Cut a long story short, I later moved to Rhode Island and was here for about 6 months or so. I was wondering where the poets are because I never knew no one. I went to an event, a young lady by the name of Panda. She forwarded Pawtucket Poetry connections to me, the IG, and I just went. And being there, Lori connected me with all these other places I'll be going. whether it may be New Bedford, whether it may be anywhere in Massachusetts and all over Rhode Island. And from there, I met interesting people. Jay Bird, Orange Live, Michael Blaze, Jill Miller, Bliss, and Clarice, as I mentioned, Nelson, Shamori, and a whole lot more. So me moving around, I felt like, I have a family of poets, and it has been tremendously. Marlon, there's another brother by the name of Marlon who I last performed, I think it was February. Marlon Carey, at Thunderfest.
Oh, I know him. Hmm.
Amina Blackwood Mix was there, and it was awesomely amazing. So everywhere I go, I'll be shattering the places to bits, like glass on a hard surface, and people loving the flow.
And that's the reason why you are nominated for Motif Spoken Award.
Yes. So before I go to Motif, so I was in Florida about 3 weeks ago, or 2 weeks, 2.5, somewhere there. I was nominated for International Reggae and World Music Award. It was a phenomenal feeling. Being able to perform on an international level where there are top journalists from inside and outside the country, it was really amazing. And if persons want to see that performance, it can be found on YouTube. Just type Amaziyah the Great, Irama, and you shall see performance. You might see some interviews, but it really fascinates you to know that a lot of persons are relating all over the globe saying, yes, it's a great thing. It's amazing.
That's great. Well, congratulations on
And
that. That's so you
and
weren't
and then
expecting that, I'm sure.
being around now the Providence area,
Hmm.
Rhode Island, I should say, 'cause Providence, Pawtucket. I currently reside in Pawtucket.
Hmm. You
Yes.
love the Florida.
So I roam from Pawtucket to Smithfield to Providence, all over. Anywhere there are poetry. I recently performed also at Riff Raff. So some of the common events I performed on Riff Raff. I performed at Swap Meet with Jay Bird, Orange Live, Tell Your Truth. I did say Marlon Carey invited me out to the Thunder Fest. I performed on a brother by the name of Vlad's Afroverse. I perform. There are many more,
Hmm.
but those are the ones I can recall now. So maximum respect and big respect to every other event organizers who invited me. J. Kalinda Amp in Boston. New Bedford. Boston was Boston's Jerk Fest. Yes,
Oh yeah.
I'll be going all over. And in New York, I was also um received an award for my contribution toward the arts, which was promoted by a Time Ras Productions, Ras Atiba.
Those are such great accolades, and honestly, they're well deserved. Like, we just met you recently, but even just the poems you recited here with us, what we have learned of you, it's something we can feel when we hear what you're saying, like your energy, everything about how you deliver, and you can tell that those poems come from within. They come from a really deep place, and
So
they're
as
good.
you mentioned that, I try to write with feelings. I try to write, if it's not about me, because I'm in no time to write nursery rhymes and all that. I can write something that ladies will like. I can write something that I am feeling. I can write something about our youth.
Mhm.
And I don't know how much time I have, but like mentioned, youth and for the ladies, I definitely would want to do, those. But I don't want to, take too much time on your show because you probably have more questions that you want to ask, and I
I
don't
think
mind.
what we should do is direct people to where they can hear all of your works, because you're on YouTube and you're on social media. So where are
Yeah.
the places people can
So
find you?
so they can find me on TikTok at artist Craig Kirkland. They can find me on YouTube, Amaziyah the Great, on uh, Instagram, Precisely Great, and Facebook, Amaziyah the Great.
Excellent.
So before we start to wrap this up, I do want to ask you, how long have you been in Rhode Island?
About a year and a half.
Oh wow! So
Oh,
you've
sweet.
made some great connections. It's really great
So,
to hear, because something Tracy and I are trying to get to know is like Rhode Island has such a robust
yeah.
African
So
American literary.
I've been performing about a year now in
Yeah.
Rhode Island because uh at AS220 I did my there were so many other places I go do my 1 year anniversary of performance. I did it at Pawtucket Poetry, and that
Hmm.
was in January. And I did that also in January. So January makes one full year. So it's a year and a half,
Okay.
really, roughly.
All right. That's great.
So the reason why I'll be popping, I have a tagline where I say we never stop. And that's just me, you know. I keep going and going and going every day like the Energizer Bunny.
So, quick question: what is it that you like about? Can you name three things that you like about Rhode Island as we wrap up?
So if I should compare the vibe in Rhode Island and New York, because I spent most of my time in New York when I just got here. New York is a nice place to be as it relates to um I could go out on the street now and I could say, hey, I got some books and people take them. You don't have to be at an event.
Yeah.
But New York is super busy. I like the trees. I like because where I'm at, I'm around trees. I like the trees. I tell someone I hug the trees. They ask if I'm crazy, but I like where nature is at. I like listening to chirping of the birds.
Hmm.
It's peace and quiet. You can be able to create more. And my aim is to also create something, poetry vibration, on motion pictures. So sooner or later, you might be see or hear that I'm making maybe a documentary or a short film, something other than just me performing.
Okay.
Love to hear it. All right,
Well, we'll
Tracy.
be seeing you on Tuesday, because
Definitely. Oh
we'll
yeah,
be
yeah,
at,
yeah. So before
yeah.
we can't leave yet. We haven't talked about Motif Awards.
We gotta talk
So
about it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I chopped you off and talk about Irama, which is gone 2 weeks or so ago. Um, and I wanted that on my phone here, but the battery, the space just. I got so much videos on this phone, so there's no more space available. Hopefully, when I get your video, I can have that part. So Motif Award. So big respect to all the organizers of Motif. Um, I think it's really them seeing me putting in the works. Uh, I was told by event organizers, not of Motif, but I was told by event organizers, you have to be on our event, because we hear them talking about you about 4 or 5 times in a meeting. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. And I did go to the event. I did execute phenomenally well, just the same. And like I said again, big respect to everyone who pay attention of what I do. Motif, it's been an honor to be placed among distinguished poets, because we are all a family-based type of vibe. Um, they all welcome me warmly. They all talk great stuff about me from what I hear so far. And it's a good feeling to be performing and to be nominated, because I also will be performing on Tuesday night.
Excellent. And that's going to be at Myrtle in Providence, Rhode Island. So anyone who wants to see the actual awards and see the winners, Craig, my fingers are crossed, but I don't think you need luck at all. I think you probably got this in the
So,
bag.
so, so
Cross your fingers for us.
as I am so elated about this entire moment, I
Mhm.
think my win for me is winning the hearts of the people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
When your name is spoken in rooms that you couldn't even imagine, that's when you know that things are going the way they're supposed to. And I feel like, that's the thing here. I think that, there's only more to come. Like you said, I'm sure we're only just here in the beginning of this with you, but it was so nice to
Precisely.
have you.
It was really great to have you. Thank you very much for joining us. And we will definitely put out your socials. And this will be airing on this Monday, and the Motif Awards are on Tuesday. So
Wow,
we'll see you
such
there,
an
sir.
honor again to it's quite fascinating, that you got me the short minute and we're putting it so fastly.
Yeah.
So I still do get to finish off with one.
Oh, sure. Go ahead. Please.
Yeah. Let's
Please.
close us out.
Okay, so first and foremost, maximum respect and thanks to, Tracy, Shahida. It's a pleasure being here on your podcast. I want to say maximum respect to my kids, Naisha, Johnny, Akeem. Big respect to Lori. Big respect to all fans out there. Big respect to everybody. Too much people to call. All poets out there. Uh, all organizers, maximum respect and thanks. I'm gonna do one called You Will Be Okay. Shahida, you are remarkable. You are strong. You are one of God's greatest gifts. Follow him and you'll never go wrong. Tracy, you are smart. You are noble. Take keen ears to these words I told you. You see, the skies were overcast and then torrential rain for days. Throughout your darkest moments, you experienced pain for days. Cold and bitter, angry and confused. Be cautious with your steps before you make the wrong moves. And if you're feeling a bit empty right now, somewhat unsatisfied, fret not, for God already sent an angel to be your travel guide. Shahida, you'll be okay, okay? Just know that God is real. Tracy, after you overcome the sophisticated phase, you'll be the strongest you ever feel. Ladies, you are remarkable. You are sweet. Trample all hypocrites beneath your feet. Be patient and pray more. You'll be okay. Forget about them who not believe in you. Ladies, I got no time to play. You all are fighters, survivors who resist to quit. Ladies all over the globe, you're goddesses. You're loved. You deserve a lifetime happiness. It was a pleasure being here.
Oh
Oh, thank you
my
so
God.
much.
Beautiful. Loved it. Like,
Yes.
Thank you
thank you
very
so
much.
much. I love how you do that. More poets need to do that. Just talk.
Right, right. Bring me in. I like a little, engagement and audience engagement. So
Beautiful.
you're really great at that. And I just want to say I think you're part of the renaissance that's happening now in
Yes.
our area. I feel like there's a huge renaissance of writers, poets, musicians, artists, and you're a big part of that.
Thank you very much. If
All
I,
right.
if I, so hold on a second. I don't want to be too greedy. If you want, you can crop this off. I want to give you one of the teasers that the ladies like. I would not feel
Is
happy
this the
without
one
not
that got
doing.
you in trouble? Is this the one that got you in big
Not that
trouble?
one. No, 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 not that
Okay.
one.
All right.
This
Give
one
us
is
the
called.
teaser.
This one
All
is
right,
called the artwork. And
give us
before
a
I go,
lickle,
people,
a lickle.
remember, look out and check the book out. Don't Cry by Craig A. Kirkland, and available
On
on
Amazon.
Amazon. And I always have copies. So I always have copies. So if you want to order direct from me, you can reach out to me. Um, yeah, or you can reach out to Shahida. Shahida got my number.
There you go.
I do. I got it.
She got the
Uh,
hotline. The hotline.
Precisely. So if you're watching and you know her, you can reach out to her. She will get to me. Not a problem. This one is called the artwork. And ladies, I am not talking nothing else other than arts and paintings.
Okay.
I dip my firm paintbrush in her acrylic to get the tip wet. Slowly start to brush stroke on her canvas to paint a picture perfect. She stared in my eyes as she smiled, giving me that firm grip. I gazed back at her, penetrating her so deeply. I knew she liked it. Come on, Tracy, of course. You know I'm talking about artwork. Her heart was crammed with elation. My art worth is priceless, Shahida. She enjoys the vibration. I sank my paintbrush further in her acrylic again, stroking the canvas a bit harder. She commanded, Artist Craig Kirkland, please go a bit faster. As a true artist, I grant her wish. She admits my art is breathtaking. I confirm quick, honey, we both did the paintings. Tracy, we were wet and sticky with paints all over the place. But the remarkable thing about our art, Shahida, it was a masterpiece that will never be erased. The artwork. You know the journey continue, will never stop. Precisely.
Oh, I need like a little kerchief just to.
Sir. Sir. Loved it. And on that
Amazing.
note, fanning ourselves and saying goodnight. Thank you very much. We
Thank
love
you for
Thank you
joining
very
us.
much.
It's
Thank
been a
you for having
pleasure.
me.
It truly has
Pleasure.
been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.